Hi Navzat, it's so good to finally do this Q&A face to face.
Yes.
And thank you so much for inviting me to be here at Cyprus IVF Hospital. I would like to learn a bit more about the egg donation journey that patients go through when they're coming from different countries.
Sure. First of all, it's a pleasure to having you finally here face to face to show you all around about the hospital and our services that we're providing. So the egg donation program is actually the most popular program that we are offering at our hospital. The main reason for that, that number one, the egg donation program is quite affordable in Cyprus compared to other European countries.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that we are able to offer the egg donation program up to age 55. All our egg donors must be anonymous by law. And then we have very restricted rules on selecting criteria on the egg donor side, which is controlled by the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
So the egg donors must be aged between 21 and 32, and then they have to go certain tests, including genetic testing like karyotype, or sickle cell, thalassemia, and cystic fibrosis. These kind of tests are mandatory to perform. On top of this, we also do some wider genetic testing. We call it genetic screening.
Okay.
We also apply this test to our donors, so then we will not have any issues in the future with the baby and intended parents. That's the main attraction points on the journey. And at the same time, because we have a very wide range of egg donors, including Caucasian, Western European, Black African, Central Asian, Middle East, also on the upper side on Russia, Ukraine. So we are offering very wide range of the egg donors. And one of the main reasons for that Cyprus as an island is quite attractive places for the international students. So that's why when the students coming over here, they really want to help the people to by donating their eggs and allow them to create a family in the future. So that's why we have this kind of the wide range. Otherwise, it's really costly and difficult to find egg donors and bringing them always abroad. We have donors that we are bringing them abroad, of course, but mostly also we are using the donors which they are living in Cyprus themselves.
That's really good. So for really young people who have been tested and
Exactly.
from a diverse background, so it's likely to meet a lot of needs from
Exactly, and highly educated, because they're either students or they're already graduated and having a good job over here. So basically when we look at the segmentation of the donors, they were like in terms of the intelligence side, because yes, we are looking the characteristic to match the best characteristic, including the blood type, to the intended parent, but also at the same time the educational side is quite high. So the combination of the all these ingredients is able to give us a good quality of eggs and also good satisfaction by the patients. And having of course the big egg donor pool allow us to provide patients no waiting list 90% of the time. So the waiting, when we say no waiting list, basically it means that within a week we can find you a match, and then within a month we can have the fresh cycle and collect the eggs from the donor, because 90% of the time we prefer to use the fresh eggs. We have frozen egg banks significantly stored here, but while the donors are active, we prefer to use the fresh eggs because they're active anyway.
Yeah, and so for a couple who's coming from outside Cyprus, how does the process work?
It's very simple and straightforward for us, and we're providing 360 degrees customer experience. So it's very initial step is, let's say a patient from UK, and they apply and they say, hi, I'm 48 years old, married, but we want to have a kid. I'm already in menopause or low ovarian reserve, very low AMH and FSH level. So we want to go directly to the egg donation program, and how can we start? So we have, we call it a phase 1 test that we would like to receive it from the patient. So we said, look, as a first step, we want to see this result from you. Can you perform them in your own country? If yes, please perform them and send it to us. And after we collect this information from the female and male partner, we review their case, and if they're eligible for the program, we can say that yes, now we can start this program. So as a second step, okay, now please fill this donor recipient form. So both female and male, they fill their characteristics in this form, and they with a picture, and they send it to us. So what we do, taking as a first step their blood type, we are actually shortlisting all our donors as per the blood type. Then, based on their characteristic, we find them at least 2 to 3 best match. Then we send them donor matching forms back, these 2 or 3 options.
What sort of information does it have, that form?
So on that form, they will see the age of the donor, the ethnicity of the donor, skin color of donor, height of donor, weight of the donor, hair color, eye color, education, hobbies. This kind of characteristic information all will be available on this matching form, except the personal information. Unfortunately, by rule, all the donors are anonymous. We cannot provide any personal information, including the picture of the donor. Therefore, all this characteristic is provided to them by the donor matching form. And then we tell them, whichever you choose, please inform us so we can book that donor for you. They might say, okay, I'm okay with option 2. Then we tell them, okay, we'll come back to you within 24 hours after checking donor's availability and saying, okay, donor will be available for egg collection within 3 weeks. Then what we are asking to them, either the male partner could have come before the egg collection or on the day of the egg collection to provide the sperm. But most of the time we want to give the flexibility to the patient. We say, okay, next weekend just fly here for 1 day, provide your sperm, and then leave. The male partner comes, provide the sperm, and then we freeze the sperm, they leave. And then after the egg collection, we fertilize the eggs with the provided sperm, create the embryos. Either we prepare the female as intended mother for a fresh transfer, or we create the embryos, freeze them, and we prepare the intended mother for a frozen transfer whenever she is available to come. So it's very straightforward process. If the patient wants to do this process from the beginning here at our hospital, they need to come here for between 10 to 12 days. But if they say, no, it's okay, I want to start my protocol back home, what we do, either we send the prescription, they can buy the medication in their own country. Second option, we can ship the medication to their country. And third option, when the male partner comes over here to provide the sperm, we prepare the medication and give it to him so he can bring it back to the home country. And then when the intended mother is ready for an embryo transfer, on the second day of her protocol, on the second day of her cycle, we start the protocol phase 1. So we send the full written protocol, they already have the medication anyway, then they start the protocol in their home country. That is also including 2 scans as well. So we book everything for them in their own country, and then we follow them remotely. And then on the 8th day of the protocol, we most of the time we invite them over here. So the last scan can be done here by our IVF specialist to see if the endometrium line is ready for the final protocol for embryo transfer, which takes 5 days. And then if they are ready, then we move on, and they will stay here for a week. We monitor everything, perform the embryo transfer on day 5. Then a day after the embryo transfer, or the same day night, they can fly back home. It's very, very simple. So we provide 3 options. Either they come on 12 days, stay full day here. It's option 2, they come for only taking the medication, provide the sperm. Option 3, they do everything back home, and then we can remotely prepare them, and they come only here for a couple of days only for embryo transfer. It's totally up to patients, their time management, they have family responsibilities and that kind of things. We provide all the options.
It's really easy to adjust to
Exactly.
the needs and the timings.
Exactly, and then we arrange them all their transportation from the airport. They can fly to Larnaca Airport, Pafos Airport, or Erkan Airport in North Cyprus. They will be collected by our driver. We also send them options about the hotel, which we have an arrangement, 5 hotels around our hospital. They tell us, we send them all the price list, they choose, we book for them, and everything is arranged by our time, collect them from the airport, take them to the hotel, and then everything is free of charge between the hotel and the hospital as per the transportation. And then they don't need to interact with any stakeholders during the process. Everything handled by single point.
It's really important. It's just peace of mind.
Exactly, which is the hospital, which they trust anyway to approach, and all the payments for the transportation and the hotel will be collected at the hospital. So they don't interact with or financially stress about, oh, how should we pay the hotel, how should we pay the transportation? No, everything is calculated and transparently provided at the hospital to the patient and collected here.
And when the donors are stimulating, we never know how many eggs they're going to get. Is there like a guarantee? Or?
Correct. So we are our promise is we are promising at least 8 M2 good quality of eggs. So if we cannot achieve, if something happens with the donor that day we cannot collect, we do the second round, and then we fulfill our promises that we definitely provide 8 M2 quality eggs, so fully mature and good quality. Then we have basically a pregnancy guarantee egg donation program. For that we provide minimum 12 eggs, but it's anyway guaranteed by us to make the woman pregnant until they hear the heartbeat from the scan. Therefore, there is no need to question how many eggs they're giving us, because it's guaranteed by us that she will be pregnant.
And so that means that hopefully some of them will be frozen for the future. So if she gets pregnant, she can come back in the
of course.
future.
So in the normal circumstances, out of 8 eggs, we will achieve, if the male factor is very important here, of course, but let's say the male sperm quality is in the normal range by the World Health Organization structure, then out of 8 eggs we normally get 6, 7, or sometimes 8 day 5 velocity embryos. So even in the first transfer, we transfer 2 embryos and you got pregnant, then you still have 5, 6 embryos remaining frozen for a later try for siblings, or let's say you lose the baby after month 2, you have a second, third, or fourth chance already created and stored for you here. And then you don't need to pay the full program again. The frozen embryo transfer costs only 1,250 euros. So if they want the siblings, let's say 2 years later, they said they will come over here, we prepare them again for the embryo transfer, and only they will pay 1,250 euros for the frozen embryo transfer.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we give lots of chance. Some people, they want to do single embryo transfer. That means that if you have day 5 embryo, that means that 6 different trials. So it is recommended by our IVF specialists how many embryos to be transferred, based on each patient conditions, because we take into consideration of the age of the patient, medical history, fertility history, and embryo qualities. So then we can say, okay, in your case, let's do 2 embryo transfer. We are legally allowed to do maximum up to 3 anyway. So depending on each case, our doctors recommend with our embryologist what will be the best for the patient. But of course, end of the day, it is the patient's decision.
The choice.
Next.
And where are most of your patients coming from? The ones that are looking for egg donation?
So 99% of our patients, they're international patients. So all around the world. The biggest market for us is UK, followed by Germany, France. And we have lots of patients coming from Sweden, Denmark, US, Canada. We have also lots of patients coming from Middle East, including Turkey. We have UAE, Iraq, Northern Africa, Libya, Morocco a lot, South Africa. We have patients coming from New Zealand, Australia.
Wow.
We had 2 patients from Japan a couple of months ago. So the good thing about only Latin America market we haven't tapped into yet, but the rest of the
It's a
world,
bit far away as well.
but we have lots of patients from New Zealand, for example.
Yeah.
Usually they come for egg donation program or a single ladies for embryo donation program.
Yeah.
But we have an international team here. We speak 9 different languages. So we know the needs of different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So we know how to have a discussion with a German patient compared to a patient from Iraq.
Yeah.
Completely different segmentation. We know that what is their expectation from one country and from the other country.
Mm-hmm.
And we have lots of international agreements all around the world to support this experience in terms of logistic,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of medication,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of scan.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is globally arranged to provide the best patient care.
And when we look at the success rates of egg donation, they are much higher than normal.
Exactly.
IVF.
The main reason for that is very simple. Number one, because we choose the donors very, very carefully,
Mm-hmm.
and we perform all the tests mandatory, plus all the other genetic tests which is not mandatory but it's quite important for us,
Mm-hmm.
because we are actually taking good care of our donors. So it's one of the main reasons, to get the good quality of results,
Mm-hmm.
because the donors are our main ingredients in the egg donation program.
Yeah.
So you have to really take good care of them. And also our IVF specialist, the clinic chef, Dr. Serap, she's having more than 25 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows how to prepare different kind of endometriums.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have lots of different type of issues with the female side, and also having an advantage of 10,000 square meter hospital. Male factor is most of the time it's a skip factor,
Yeah.
but when we have the patients over here, we see that it's a significant role. And then most of the time we find also issues with the male factor.
Mm-hmm.
So we can really treat that at our hospital to achieve better results.
Better
So we take all the steps in beforehand, before making sure that everything is okay to move to embryo transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Some patients, they said, oh, but I don't want to do that, and is it necessary? If we say if it's necessary, that means that we are trying to avoid the more financial and psychological distress.
Mm-hmm.
And also genetic testing, it's helping us a lot, because we apply every kind of genetic testing to embryos at our hospital. So it's from the only checking 3 chromosome up to checking all the chromosome with NGS.
Yeah.
So we are making sure that if the patient wants the genetic screening, we are making sure that embryos are 100% healthy, which is helping to achieve
Good
much higher.
success
Yeah,
rate.
exactly.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Nazat.
Yeah, you're most welcome.